Welcome to Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast. My name is Mompoloki Lerumo Mogobe. Our objective is to enthuse, inspire, energize, and empower entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs of all stripes here in BW and beyond. We do so by inviting these entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs into our makeshift studio. Sometimes we call them to the restaurant, sometimes we go to our studio, and we ask them to share their experiential knowledge, their experiences and their expertise. And we ask them as many questions as we can, aimed at empowering you also as a viewer. Hello dear viewer and listener, my name is Mompoloki Lerumo Mogobe. Let me welcome you to another episode of Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast. We do our best to bring you life-changing and impactful information as always. I'd like to just make a special plea before we go any further. Please hit the subscribe button. We really need your support, guys. I have Mr. Phambuka here on the studio, and he's going to talk about entrepreneurship and other challenges associated with his own entrepreneurial journey. Welcome to the studio, Mr. Phambuka.
Thank you very much, sir, for having me.
Yes.
I'm very much honored to be here.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
It would be nice if you could just give a little bit of background, what I like to call a condensed CV about yourself.
Okay. Well, first of all, my name is, like you have mentioned, it's Melusi Phambuka, and I am the founder and director of Prestige Legacy Group, a company that deals with business development. We also offer digital marketing services. Mm-hmm. I'm someone who's very much interested also in speaking about entrepreneurship and what people usually don't talk about when it comes to entrepreneurship. You know, the most of the challenges that entrepreneurs face, especially aspiring entrepreneurs. Mm-hmm. So I've done shows in Gaps FM where I was always talking about mental wellness as connected to entrepreneurship or the journey of entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm. Okay, just before we dig deeper there, just tell them also about your training, your professional training.
In all honesty, the services, most of the services that we render in the company, which is company secretariat services, which are
secretarial services.
Yes, secretarial services. Services like website development and other digital marketing. Most of them, we have departments within our company. We have people that are overseeing that. But on my side, I've went to Botswana University and I've done
UB.
Yes, sir. And I've studied media studies,
Oh,
Bachelor
okay.
of Arts in Media Studies. Yes, sir.
Okay. Tell us about Prestige. Why that name?
Well,
Prestige Legacy Group.
Yes, sir. When we came with the name of Prestige Legacy, first of all, in the name Prestige, we were looking into the services that we want to offer our clients, mm-hmm. which should be and must be and are prestigious services. And as of the name Legacy, it's because in entrepreneurship, we believe, you build a business that will become a legacy, and you also help others do the same, build businesses that will leave behind a legacy that their offspring will cherish and benefit from. Okay,
you call yourselves a business development and marketing consultancy.
Yes, sir.
Just take us through, if you like, a cross-section of the services that you offer.
Yes, sir. First of all, we have, which is one of the core services of our company, it's secretarial services, website development, which falls under digital marketing, and also we offer services like graphic designing, which we all classify under digital marketing, but we also digital marketing, but we also have services like business development, which means we help those who bring ideas and those who are in the startup phase to level up in their businesses.
Okay. And how big is your clientele now? How is it growing?
I will definitely say our clientele is growing as compared to when we started the company. Yes, sir.
All right. Do you want to talk numbers, or you just want to leave it vague like that?
Okay. In terms of the clientele that we have currently, I will say most of the clients that we see coming in, coming and going. I will just round it to close to around 29 or so.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You want to talk about how to succeed as a startup.
Yes.
You yourself, you were once a startup.
Yes, sir.
And why do you think this topic is important for startups to survive the startup phase, if you like?
In all honesty, I believe, we attend seminars, we listen to motivational speakers speaking, and usually we are like, you know what? Yeah, I want to start something. I want to become successful and have, all the materialistic things that I can think of. But at the same time, mostly we don't talk about the downside of entrepreneurship, which is the challenges that we face, which is the failures that one go through. These are the things that are normally not talked about, and we also don't talk a lot about the mental wellness that, challenges that comes with trying to build a sustainable business or enterprise. So the reason why I want to talk about startup, it's because I believe I can share with a lot of people out there, aspiring entrepreneurs, I can share with them some of the insights of all these things that I just mentioned.
Start small and think big.
Yes, sir.
That's one of your mottos. Break it down.
Well, first of all, it is my understanding, and not only from the things I've heard and the things but also from my own experience as well. Sometimes we have to understand that wherever we want to go in life, and whatever we want to achieve in life in the next 5 years or in the next 10 years, it all has to start in the mind, which means you have to think it that way, think it big, the way you envision it to be. But at the same time, you have to be able enough to say, okay, but now where do I start? A lot of us have great ideas that can change the world, but the problem becomes the starting point. So usually we think just because the idea is great, then it means that we are automatically going to start big. But you have to start somewhere. You have to start by the street side if it means doing that. Sailing alongside the street. Sailing to the 2 people that you can find, to the 3 people that you can find. Because at the end of the day, what matters is making sure that you are eventually going to reach the goal that you have anticipated or that you have set for yourself.
When you talk about thinking big, what does that mean? Does it mean you have to really think of starting the biggest corporation out there, or?
What I mean by that is, when, first of all, people have to understand this. Whatever you envision in your mind, and when you envision it in your mind and you consistently speak it speak it consistently speak it, eventually you will be fueled to work towards that. So when I say think big, what I mean is think as much as, you know, whatever passion that a person has, regardless of the field that the passion is you know, solely focused in. It can be in the arts, it can be in the food industry, but at the end of the day, whatever business idea that you come with in your mind, you have to sit down and say, okay, but is this how far I can go? Is this the best I can think? Is this you know, where I can literally say this is the end point for me? So you have to think of something that is outside of your arena, so that way you will be you know, you will be motivated enough to work hard and push and eventually, even though you won't hit the stars, but even if you won't hit the sky, but at the end of the day, you manage to end by the stars.
If you don't hit the moon, or if you don't, I don't know which one is further, the moon or the stars.
Yeah, whatever.
Whichever one you miss, you get the other one.
Exactly.
Now, I've read a book by David Schwartz, The Magic of Thinking Big, in which he talks about this thing, and he says it's actually magical, that if you think big, you somehow start bringing into existence the target or the thing that you're thinking about.
That's very true. There's a saying that says, "As a man thinketh, so is he." And when we go also into the book of life, which is the Bible, you find that Jesus Christ once said something there, and he said, "Whatever a man thinks in his mind, so shall it be." So, which means most times when we think, what we are actually doing is whatever thoughts that we have, the thoughts that we create in our minds, you know, as much as they are connected to the subconscious mind, but at the same time also the thoughts that we think create the consciousness within us, which means it's more like you are bringing that which is in the unseen into the seen.
Okay.
So when you think it, you are basically just speaking.
But the same Jesus, if I'm not mistaken, says that who thinks of building a tower without computing and working out the cost, what if he was proceeds and then he was going to be laughed at if he doesn't complete it? I'm just paraphrasing.
Yes.
So isn't it also important to be realistic in that sense?
It's very much so, because at the end of the day, I once had a speaker say, you know, the greatest ideas and the greatest inventions are found, you know, most of the great inventions and the great ideas and, you know, great businesses and most of the ideas that change the world are normally found in the graveyards. And what he meant was that this is where you see people who died with their dreams, who died with those thoughts, with those ideas and visions,
and projects,
you know, because for them it was just about thinking and not sitting down and asking themselves, okay, as much as I have this crazy idea, do I even have a roadmap? Like it's a big idea, which means at the end of the day you have a goal, right, that you want to achieve. But do you have the roadmap that will definitely take you there? And most of these people, they went to the grave with those big inventions, great ideas, great projects, because they did not have a roadmap. They did not sit down and say, okay, I have to be content with myself and conscious of the fact that right now I may not be able to actually work on what I say I want to work on, mostly it will need the funds that you don't have. But that means you have to also, as a person, find means in which you will be able to finance the idea, to finance the business that you are thinking of.
Yeah. Well, the Prestige Legacy Group is working on creating, business masterclasses.
Yes, sir.
To address issues like that.
Yes, sir.
Tell us about that. What inspired it and how it's going to work.
Okay, sir. In 2018, I launched what by then was called Botswana Youth Power Seminars. The Youth Power Seminars was a seminar. By then, I was in the University of Botswana, and I had a collective of great speakers, the likes of Huitzimang Kuitsafalo, the likes of Mogomotsi France, among the others that I can take the whole day just listing, and it was somehow successful in my point of view, in the fact that at that time I was an aspiring entrepreneur. And
so they came to speak?
Yes, sir.
Where?
It was in UB, in the Botswana University of University of Botswana. They spoke about all things entrepreneurship, but mostly we were focused on two things by then, which I wanted to learn about, and I knew, but if I can go to these people individually and say, I want to learn about this, they are probably going to need to charge me, because it is the standard norm with their businesses. But then I said, okay, as much as this is what I want to learn, I know there are other people who want to learn about it also. So that is when, I found people a team that I can work with, and then we made it work. And it was successful. The speakers were talking on financial literacy and sales skills, which I wanted to know a lot about, because I believe these are some of the core fundamentals of entrepreneurship. You cannot say you're an entrepreneur if you cannot be able to sell your product or your services to the people. So now, after that seminar, I ended up just pulling back on it because I needed to work on my ideas, on my business as well. So that is when, of lately, then by popular demand, because as I was always going,
you just had one, and everybody wants it back.
I had it, and people literally kept asking for more of that. But at that particular point in time, with school, and also I had other issues that literally just, had me pull back on it.
And of course, COVID came.
And then COVID as well came, and with COVID, when COVID came, I was also at that point in time working with these two corporations. It was Expose Group Works and something Alive. I forgot the name. Yes. And we were working on a Botswana Youth Tour, which was all about, going into major towns and cities and just, talk and discuss things that are to do with entrepreneurship. So that is when COVID hit. It means by then we had successfully launched Kolobatse, and we were to now go to Silibe Pikwe, but then COVID came, and then it meant we had to
apply the brakes.
But immediately after that, I don't know what transpired, because I was coming in as the third party but yeah. So it was then that I decided, okay, the idea kept on coming, but I kept on pulling back on it because I wanted to see where the situation with COVID is leading us to. And also waiting for that time that I will know, okay, this now is the right time. People will not be scared to meet other people and just, be able to sit and talk and exchange and,
So
ideas.
explain to us about the new masterclass, business masterclass.
The
sessions, how is it going to
yes,
operate?
The sessions that we are to name the elevating business master classes will be focusing on all things entrepreneurship, and not only that, we'll also be able to discuss things like mental wellness in the work field. We are also going to be able to talk about financial literacy. Basically, we are going to talk about Bonebo sales skills, marketing, all the fundamentals of entrepreneurship that a person can think of. That is our aim. Not only that, but we also aim to have to partner with individuals and corporations that we know are successful in this field, people that have vast knowledge and wisdom in all these, people that will be able to impact others with the knowledge that they have. And just because for us, we are saying, okay, let's just come here as the youth and bring a few people who have just this cup of wisdom that is overflowing and needs to pour it out there into the people. So we are saying, for us, it's all about that, to help these people, pour that on others who are aspiring, who are startups, and even those who are entrepreneurs but are suffering, with a lot of things that they may be suffering with in their business as well. So basically, the master classes are going to happen like this. We plan to have the master classes twice in a month, which means in those times, those 2 times that we'll be having the master classes,
like fortnightly, eh?
Yes, sir, by fortnightly. The aim is to also have people of all age to be in attendance, even though mostly our main target market is the youth, but also we are saying everyone is welcome to come and learn from these master classes, because
who do you invite exactly? Captains of industry, successful entrepreneurs, or motivational speakers? Who are you going to be inviting?
Mostly our aim is to invite the captains of the industries, because like I said, so these are the people that we really want to learn from, and these are the people that I know a lot of people want to learn from. And of course, most of these captains of the industries, most of them, you find that they are also speakers of note. That is to say, they are motivational speakers and all that. But we also know a lot of times, people will be there and listen to a motivational speaker speak, and then there will be that instant instant
push,
and
push.
Exactly. But then immediately when it's all done and said,
it's back to the old.
So as much as there will be a sense of or a bit of motivation, there has to also be learning that is there. That is to say, people who also will be coming to this should be people who are also willing to learn and to develop themselves for the better, to develop their personalities and their characters, and to learn how entrepreneurship works, what it's all about, how building a business, building a corporate, building whatever a person want to build, a legacy that will last forever, will really need. Because we want the youth to be able to learn and understand that today we have the government as our sole and main employer, which means right now, as we can see, the standard of living, it keeps on, the cost of living keeps on going higher and higher. And this is because we lack people who are willing to come together, collaborate, build ventures and organizations, companies that can be able to employ not only one or two people, but hundreds of people, thousands of people. That is the aim, sir.
The brand name you're using, Elevate, something like
Elevating.
that. Elevating.
Yes, sir.
Okay, elevate. Yeah.
Yes,
It's interesting, yeah. How did you come up with that, and what does it mean?
Well, elevating is all about what we are trying to do with this, business master class, is to elevate people, is to elevate entrepreneurs, elevate people to become the best entrepreneurs that they can become. We are all trying not only to elevate people into that space of entrepreneurship, but we are also trying to elevate people to become entrepreneurs who are conscious, full of consciousness, very content, and entrepreneurs that are emotionally strong and emotionally capable to build companies, corporates, organizations that will definitely.
And one of the things that you like talking about is patience.
Yes, sir.
How has that helped you in your own venture? And can you share with us some of your experiences?
Before I even get there and talk about patience, I want people to also know that there is a thin line between patience and procrastination. Because sometimes, I'm saying this from experience, sometimes you'll be like, okay, I have to be patient with myself, let me not rush this, let me be patient. But the time as time goes on, you become relaxed, and the more you become relaxed, the more procrastination hits in.
Procrastination.
Yes, procrastination hits in. And when procrastination hits in, that's when you come to realize I keep on saying tomorrow. So, but also.
Someday I'll.
Yes,
someday I will.
So now, when we talk about patience means putting in the work. At the same time, understanding that as much as you are putting in the work, it doesn't mean that you will see results right there and there. The results will come, you will see the success eventually, but keep putting in the work. So with patience it's all about understanding that, I have to put in the work, but I shouldn't beat myself up because I don't see the results that I was intending to see.
Okay. Right product, right service. How do you ensure that you are you have the right product and the right service? What advice do you give these entrepreneurs?
First of all, every business, either it's rendering the service to the people, or it's rendering their products to the people.
Yes.
Service, giving
Selling.
their products to the people, which is selling. So both of these, things, which is the service and the product, it all requires sales skills. So first of all, before you can just become, because you can become a great salesman, but if your product is not the kind of, if your product or service is not the kind that people are really hungry for or really want a taste of, then it means you won't see any growth. You won't see, you won't sell anything. You won't sell your services. You won't sell your products. First of all, it's very important to make sure that your service, it's, the service that you are rendering to your clientele is up to standard. So are the products. And sometimes you have to, not sometimes, but mostly you have to be willing to take feedback as well from your
customers.
From your customers, regardless of whether it's positive or negative. But mostly I usually say, as much as the positive comes, just be grateful for it, but focus mostly on those who bring the negative about the product, and see if really this is a negative response that you are only getting from this person, or it's a negative response that you are getting from a whole batch or number of your
Because that would mean there's fundamentally something wrong with your service, or the product.
So it means now you have to pull back, sit down, and find a way to
go back to the drawing board.
Yes.
What about taking risks? What risks have you yourself personally taken, and what came out of those risks?
Well, one of it's really important to take the risk, but it's also extremely important to make sure that before you take a risk, make sure it's a calculated risk. It's not just you jumping and saying it will definitely work. You can't just jump out of this building and think a parachute will just come out of you. So before you take that leap and jump, you have to make sure that you are suited for that.
Yeah,
so
because you can't cheat gravity.
You can't cheat gravity. So I remember back in 2020, I had this great and wonderful idea. I've sat down and I thought about it, and I was like, what if, like, I was thinking about the real estate industry, which is something that I'm extremely passionate about. I've always been in love with, and will definitely get there with time. So I was seated and I was like, I think it's possible to get into this. All I need, I was like, okay, what if I decide to just find, at least for now, 10 people that I can work with, 10 people who will come in as investor shareholders, meaning these people will say, for example, each individual will bring on the table 1,000 for a period of 10 months. That is a subtotal of at least about 100,000. So I was like, okay, but it's possible to do this. We can do this, and when we have done this, we can say, you know what, let's take this money and go into, places that are just surrounding the city or a major town, places that we know for sure that the developments of the city or the major town are going to end up including it within it.
Yes.
So we were like, okay, what if we do that and we just see to it, Hore, we buy land there because that's where mostly you find the land cheaper as compared to when it's within a town or within a city. So fast forward, I was able to do that, find the people, and we were like, okay, we are going to get this thing going. But then, while at it, I was like, okay, but I have to also think of something that will help me minimize the damages. Little did I know that not only am I thinking I'm minimizing the damages, but I'm going to do something that will make the damages even more bigger. So what happened was, I managed to have a collective of 10 people. We managed to, have a memorandum of understanding. There is where one of my first mistakes was. It was just me typing down a contract, what I thought of this is a contract, but it was just a memorandum of understanding. So typed it down and was okay, giving everyone just feel this in, it means we are legitimate now, this is what's bounding us together. The first mistake, I didn't have a legal advice into the whole thing. I didn't go to someone who really knew more about this kind of things, and who had also understood real estate. So by so doing, we didn't have legal representation. Not only was that going to damage my reputation and that of the company, because by then the company
So you had
was
taken
just,
about 100,000 of other people, and where did you keep it?
no, 10,000.
10,000 only,
Yes.
okay.
I mean, the people, we were 10, but which means the money was going to amount to a total of 100,000.
Yeah.
So, and then I said, okay, just to give these people assurity, since we, like I said, I took a risk, but then because it was not a calculated risk, it means I didn't have vulnerable legal representation. There were things that were bound to happen, and I was going to face a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Secondly,
I'm laughing because it's as if I know how it's going to end.
yes. Secondly, I then said, okay, let's, just to give you people assurity, let's have this in a way that most of you understand it and will feel okay and see that we really mean business about this, which means, and then I said, okay, we are going to have this in two phases. The first phase is that on monthly, every time we are going to just have to contribute, say for example, 1,000 to
Per month.
yeah. But we are going to do that as a normal material that people understand, which means we are going to give, say for example, you, Mr. Mogobe, which means by the end of the month you have 10,000. So I was saying, with that 10,000, go and start something. Start a small business. Let us also help you do that. Start that business, so that when we are going to get into the second phase, which was, as I had just described
yeah.
for Reagon. Yeah. So what happened was, when I did that, little did I know that some people at the back of their minds were like, now this is where I wanted it to go. Well, the contributions were made, and then some people who were contributed to never contributed to the others, which automatically meant...
How do you mean some people who have contributed to never contributed to the others?
Because, like I said, the first phase, it was a normal motel. So when the investor shareholders, each of them, say, for example, will put in 1,000, right?
Pula, yeah.
It means that on that month, the one pula goes to a specific person. That 10,000 become, now as a collective, it becomes 10,000.
So it's going around. It's a typical motel, but it's going around, yeah.
Exactly. Because, like I said, our aim was to make sure that at the end of it all, everyone will have a small business that will sustain them and eventually help them be able to continue on with the second phase. So what happened was, people who received their funds, when it was now time for them to do the same to the others, they bailed.
All of them?
Some of them, they bailed. And somehow I had to be the one,
who's guaranteeing
everything. And it meant that...
Did you sign a surety?
No.
Okay.
Which meant, at the end of the day, that was all on me. And I had to find a way to make sure that each and every person eventually finds...
How much was your exposure in total?
In terms of
your indebtedness, yeah.
The debt, the debt was big, sir.
How come?
Like I kept saying, for instance, 1,000. It doesn't necessarily mean that was the amount. Yes, the amount I cannot disclose because. But currently, though, some of the debts, yes, it collapsed due to that, and because I also had to keep on finding a way to
from your own savings,
yes,
from your own resources,
from my own resources, from my own pockets to refund other people.
Excuse.
And and to this day,
Sorry.
Thank you for that. Some of them, the debt still remains, but it's no longer that much. Today, it's
manageable.
Manageable.
Okay.
Probably not.
So you learned from that never to start another motel.
No, not that. But what I learned from that was I learned that it's very, very important and essential that whenever you say you are taking a risk, know and calculate the risk that you are taking.
It has to be calculated.
It has to be calculated. And at the same time, make sure that you have people from different fields that know, from fields that you will definitely need, like legal counsel, financial advisors and whatnot. People that will come in the gap and help the whole thing become a success.
Okay.
As much as that one was a failure.
I suppose that's why on your next point you say hire great people. If you had hired great people, or even if it's on a consultancy basis,
yes,
they would have opened your eyes to a lot of things.
To a lot of things. They would have helped me understand what we are getting ourselves into. Because when great minds or minds that think alike are together, then it means that it's very
Yeah, it's iron
the-
sharpens iron.
Exactly. And yeah, iron sharpens iron. At the very least, you know, the damages that you may incur while taking a risk will always
So,
be minimal.
on
to
the subject
nothing.
of hiring great people, what positions you think SMMEs or startups should prioritize?
What are some of?
The positions or professions that you think they should prioritize and hire?
First of all, it's very, very essential, very important to one, have legal representation for whatever business that you are getting yourself into. Two, it's important to make sure that you have to hire a great, or even if, like you said, it's on, you know, contract basis or on just, you know,
Consultants.
consultation basis. It has to be people who you have to include people like legal advisors, people that will help you also in terms of finances, you know, financial advisors, people that will help
Accountants
you,
and
accountants,
even finance planners.
and finance planners, you know, people that will sit you down and make you know and understand things like both cash flow, things like just, you know, the income, what your income is, and what your expenses are, you know, things like that.
Yeah. Love it. What do you mean love it? You mean you have to be passionate?
You have to be passionate at least about what you are doing.
Explain your passion in what you are doing.
My
To make me understand what you mean.
My passion has always and is always in trying to develop others to become a better version of themselves, especially not only, you know, in terms of not only in terms of just personal development, but also business-wise. Because I believe every great nation that is great today is great because of entrepreneurs, people who were able to build, to add to the building of the economy of such great nations. Nations are not only built by politicians. Before there was politicians in the United States of America, there were people who today are known as the founders of the great America as it is today. The likes of John D. Rockefeller, the likes of J.P. Morgans. Those are some of
The great industrialists.
The great industrialists. So even today we have to know and understand the economy of every great nation is in the hands of those who are willing and passionate about building the economy, and that is the entrepreneurs. So
How do you cultivate the love? I'm asking you this because a question often arises as to whether entrepreneurs are born or they are made. So I want to know your take on this.
my take is an entrepreneur is someone who is made. You make yourself to be one. You are not, I don't want to believe that Mr. Mogobe that we know today, you know, was or has always been like you are today. But it was through constant learning, you know, that you ended up being where you are today, and through also gaining passion in different fields as, you know, as you kept on learning about them. So basically what this means is that when the love that we are talking about, it's just about having passion, boiling with passion for that. You cannot get
Boiling with passion.
boiling with passion.
Yeah.
You cannot get
I
into
think Napoleon Hill called it white hot
Yeah,
desire.
the white hot desire. Yes, because you cannot you cannot just jump today and say I'm going into the banking industry without, and you don't have the burning desire to learn about the banking industry. So the moment you see yourself thinking of a certain industry and having that burning desire to learn more about it, it means that now it's easy for you to love it. So basically, even on days that you don't feel like going to work, like on days that the love is not there, but the burning, desire and passion that is within you will fuel you to go.
Interesting. Admit mistakes. Give examples of that one. What do you mean entrepreneurs have to admit mistakes and give specific examples?
I have made a lot of mistakes, starting with the
Mozilla
Mozilla
situation,
one that
yeah.
we did.
Yeah.
And today I'm grateful because as much as that happened, and at that particular point in time, yes, it might have been depressing, to me, but as time went on, I learned a lesson from it, and because before you can gain a lesson from a failure or from a mistake that you have done, you have to first acknowledge the fact that you have made a mistake, you have made an error. Firstly, by appreciating and recognizing that you've done that, then it puts you in a position to say, okay, but what led me to end up doing this? What led to us and to,
It's about also taking responsibility,
it's
isn't
about taking, and that's the best that you can that you can describe it. It's all about taking responsibility, understanding that, okay, I've made a wrong here and I take full responsibility for it. Now let's find a way in which we can rectify this.
After obviously learning the lessons.
After obviously learning the lesson, yes.
In your, how many businesses are you running currently?
Currently, it's Prestige Legacy Group, which means the one as I have described it. But we are currently with a business partner of mine are working on the food production company, on building one. We are starting small with it, because we currently are trying to bring a few food products into
the country. I'm
not
sure
only-
you'll come back to tell us about it when it's already gained a bit of traction.
It is going to be a successful one. That I know so.
Oh, that's why I want you to commit that you'll come and talk about it
We will definitely
on the nuggets
we will
when that
definitely
happens.
do that. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Why do you say we must seek negative feedback more than positive feedback?
When you seek, or when you are someone who is more open, when you are more open to the negative feedback, it means that you are able to acknowledge, learn, and see what your customer base, what most of them really appreciate of your service and your product, and what they don't appreciate of it as well. So when you now realize, okay, this is something that my clients are complaining about, then let us try and fix it. But obviously, at the end of the day, you cannot impress everyone. That is why you have to look into the magnitude of the customers that are really, complaining or giving negative feedback about it, so that you can go to the drawing board and fix things.
Who are the entrepreneurs you admire, and why?
One of, I believe he's always been the man that I loved from when I was doing Standard 5, because that's when I, learned about him, read about him, a bit about him. That is Mr. The name is going now.
You can describe what he does. I'll help you.
Wait. Mr. Come on.
Is he an American?
No.
Motswana.
The owner of Pakalani.
Oh, David Mahang.
Mr. David Mahang.
The author of The Magic of Perseverance.
Yes, sir. I fell in love with, David Mahang and what he was doing, especially in the real estate business. And, it will sound as if I'm saying this because I'm in the nuggets of wisdom, but that is not true. It has, from the moment I came to learn about you, the first time I learned about you, heard about you, that was at the University of Botswana conference.
With Mr. Mogobe France.
With Mr. Mogobe
I was a
France.
keynote speaker.
Yes.
2018.
2018. Because then, that was the time I was helping Mr. Mogobe France with, putting the whole thing into, just
together,
organizing
yes.
the whole thing and putting it together. And that's when I first came to know about you, and I was like, what? So that's when I also fell in love with just, that is why you can testify to it as well, that the first time I came to you, I told you, one day I would love to learn a lot from you when it comes to the real estate business. Yes.
Thank you. Very, very flattering indeed. What are your plans in terms of the next 10, 15 years? What does your crystal ball say in terms of your brand?
And, this brand, Prestige Legacy Group.
And you personally as well.
And also, well, with me personally, because...
you can't separate yourself from the company, which is still fine.
I can. First of all, with Prestige Legacy Group, my aim is to build the best digital marketing company there is, and also a digital marketing company that also offers business development services. My aim is to
and personal development
yes,
as well.
and
Training.
Personal development training. So my aim is to build the best company there is in that. And not only that, I also personally am someone who wants to see myself building a legacy that will last forever when it comes to real estate, and when it also comes to the people that I've impacted as an entrepreneur. I want to become an entrepreneur that will be remembered for the light that he shared with the world, and the impact that he brought to the world.
When you talk and describe your dream, I think of a company called Mind Valley, which I think is based in Malaysia. And the things you are describing, training entrepreneurs, developing entrepreneurs, it's run by a guy called Vision something. He's one of the brains behind it. And it attracts captains of industries, personal development experts, industry leaders, and people who you could describe as thought leaders.
Yes.
And invites them there to train on a continual basis. And they have a thing called is it the Mind Fest? or the Mind Valley Fest, which they do annually. And they go to exotic locations around the world and invite people who are interested to listen to the likes of Lisa Nichols, the likes of, somebody like John Maxwell and top thought leaders in the world.
Yes.
So I don't know whether you're familiar with that. It's owned by a guy called Vision.
I've never heard of it, but I will definitely look into it.
You describe something that they are doing at Mind Valley. So maybe you should look it up and check on it.
Yes.
It's called the Awesomeness Fest.
The Awesomeness Fest.
Yeah, it's like Awesomeness Festival.
Oh.
So maybe you and I, once you investigate, you and I could go to the Awesomeness Fest, because it's in my bucket list.
We will definitely go there.
Yeah. All right.
Not only will we go there, but we'll probably be able to do the same thing here.
I'm sure we can. With you taking the lead, of course.
Yes, sir.
All right. You have a question for me?
Do I have a question? Let me see.
If there's no question, there's no problem.
I definitely, right now at this point in
You're
time,
blank.
I don't have
All right.
a question.
Speak to that viewer, leave them with something inspirational and motivational, and as well share your contact details at the end.
Yes, sir. To all the viewers of Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom, all I can say and share with you is whatever it is that you are working on, whatever idea, whatever great business idea, whatever whatever concept that you have and you want to work on, all I can say to you is that do understand that it's very important, very much important to have around you people who will definitely help shape you into becoming the best in bringing that concept or bringing that idea into life. Be someone who's willing to learn consistently, and be, as much as you will be learning, also be able to relearn some of the things that you carry within your mind that are definitely or may be holding you back. Learn the power of the consciousness of your mind, because that is where it all starts. It starts in your mind. But for it to be in your mind, it means that it has to build the conscious in your subconsciousness, which means the subconsciousness carries that which you see and learn regularly. Be someone who learns regularly, build it in your subconscious mind, and be a conscious and content person. That is all I can say. Go there and win.
Wonderful. Contacts?
My numbers, or the numbers that you can get hold of us at Prestige Legacy Group is 72638042, 72638042.
Social media?
And on social media, you can visit our social media platforms, Prestige Legacy Group, or you can just email us at prestigelegacyinternational@gmail.com. prestigelegacyinternational@gmail.com. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. You've been a wonderful guest, sir.
Thank you very much. Very much
indeed.
honored to be here with you, sir.